People who cry easily are almost never crying about sadness. That isn't a comfort. That's the finding. And if your eyes go before you've decided anything, if you've ever been mid-sentence, making a completely reasonable point, and felt your throat close, then you already know the worst part isn't the crying. It's the translation. You meant, "This is unfair." What came out looked like, "I can't handle this." So if it isn't sadness, what is it? It's something specific. It has a name. And once you know it, you will never read your own face the same way again. Let's find out if this is you. The tears arrive early, before the thought. You're still working out what you feel, and your body has already filed its response. There's the lump. That hard ache that shows up mid-sentence and takes your voice with it. And then, the one nobody warns you about. You cry hardest when you're angry. Not sad. Furious. And it comes out looking like hurt feelings in front of the exact person you needed to look immovable in front of. Stop there for a second, because that detail is the entire case. Sadness does not do that. Something else is driving this, and it has been driving it the entire time. You cry at things that supposedly don't matter. A stranger being kind to someone. 30 seconds of a commercial. Somebody's father in a video you scrolled past at midnight. And then, the part that really costs you. You cry about the crying. You get out of the room, the door shuts, and it starts again. And this time it's about the fact that it happened at all. If 2 of those landed, here's the first thing you need to hear. You have been mislabeling this your entire life, and so has every single person who ever commented on it. That was never sadness, because tears are not a sadness meter. The researchers who actually study crying will tell you the strongest predictor isn't grief at all. It's powerlessness. Not "I am hurt." I am in a situation and I have no move. That's why the worst ones happen in arguments. It isn't that arguments make you sad. It's that an argument is the exact place where you have the most to say and the least power to make it land. Your body reads the room, finds no exit, and does the only thing left. The tear was never measuring how much you were feeling. It was measuring how little control you had while you felt it. Which means every time somebody called it weakness, they were reading it exactly backwards. So why you? 2 people sit through the same meeting. One of them is fine. Your throat closes. The best model for this is almost embarrassingly simple. Crying is how much you care about something, divided by how much reserve you have left. When what you care about gets threatened and the reserve isn't there, the account goes into overdraft, and the overdraft notice is a tear. That's it. That's the mechanism. So it isn't that you feel more than everyone else. It's that your threshold sits lower, and thresholds are not moral achievements. Nobody earned theirs. And there's a real measured reason yours might sit where it does. Somewhere between 15 and 20% of people have a trait researchers call sensory processing sensitivity. Brain imaging finds it more activity in the regions handling awareness, empathy, and emotional meaning. It shows up in over 100 other species. It is not a disorder. It's a setting. Think about what that actually means. You are not a person who broke. You are a needle calibrated finer than the one next to you. When you moved and nobody else did, the tremor was real. They just weren't reading it yet. Now, some of you are arguing with me right now. You're thinking, no, I'm not sensitive. I'm too much. I'm exhausting. I'm the problem in the room. Notice how fast that arrived. You didn't reason your way there, and listen to the voice it came in. Because that sentence is a quotation. Somebody said it to you first, and you have been repeating it on their behalf ever since. Free of charge. For years. Here's the loop that makes this unbearable, and almost nobody names it. You cry. Then you're ashamed that you cried. And shame carries powerlessness inside it. That same helpless, no-move feeling, which is the exact thing that makes tears in the first place. So the shame doesn't stop it. The shame feeds it. You end up crying about crying, and the second round is always worse than the first, because now there's an audience, and the audience is you. That's not you being dramatic. That's a feedback loop doing exactly what feedback loops do. And now I want to explain something about the room, because you have probably been blaming the wrong thing for 20 years. A researcher at UC Davis spent years collecting accounts of people crying at work. What she found is sharper than the obvious answer. Anger is permitted. Frustration is permitted. Disappointment, sadness, raising your voice, all survivable. Crying gets punished far out of proportion to everything else. And the reason isn't that it looks weak. It's that it makes a demand. A tear creates an impression of need. It says somebody has to do something about me. And it commands the room's attention whether you wanted that or not. And that changes the story completely. You were never punished for being fragile. You were punished for accidentally asking for help in a room that had no intention of giving any. If that one landed, subscribe. Every video here makes the same argument, that most of what you were told to fix about yourself was misread, not broken. New one every week. The bell is the only way you'll actually see it. And here's the cruel bit. Whether crying helps you at all, turns almost entirely on what happens next. Cry and get comforted. And you genuinely do feel better afterwards. The research bears that out. Cry and get shamed and you don't. The tears do nothing. So the mechanism isn't broken. It just needs another person to complete it. And you have been running it over and over in rooms full of people who were never going to, which brings you to where the shame was installed. Because you weren't born apologizing for this. Every baby on earth arrives fluent in it. Something taught yours that it was a defect. Maybe you cried once and watched somebody's face change. That flicker of, oh, here it comes. Maybe someone you loved used it as evidence, brought it back out weeks later to prove you couldn't be trusted with anything hard. Maybe you were simply told in the specific tone people reserve for it to stop. Or maybe nothing dramatic happened at all. Maybe you just noticed that the people who didn't cry got taken more seriously, and you drew the obvious conclusion. However it happened, a small version of you concluded something. This thing my body does is the reason I don't get believed. And they were right about the consequence. They were completely wrong about the cause. Now let me take the objection seriously, because it's a real one and it deserves better than a slogan. You're thinking, this is all very nice, but it costs me. It costs me in meetings and arguments and every conversation where I needed to be taken seriously. Yes, it does. I'm not going to tell you the world is fair about this. It isn't, and you already know it isn't. But that cost is charged to you by other people's discomfort, not by any flaw in your equipment. But there's a version of this you've never been offered, because the only advice anyone gives is, don't cry. And that's not advice, that's suppression. And suppression raises the physical load rather than lowering it. So here's the fix. And it's smaller than you'd expect. Say it before it happens. When you can feel it building out loud, plainly, to whoever is in front of you. I'm going to cry. It isn't sadness. I'm angry. Keep listening. That's all. You're not stopping anything. You are relabeling it before the room does it for you. Remember what the tear does on its own. It makes a demand nobody agreed to. That one sentence converts it. It stops being somebody do something about me and becomes here is how serious this is. Same tears. Completely different meaning in the room. And do it for yourself, privately too. The next time your throat closes, don't ask why you're so upset. Ask the real question. Where in this do I have no power? You'll find it. It's always there. And the moment you name it, you're holding a fact instead of a verdict about your character. One honest note before I go. If the crying is constant, or it comes with no trigger you can find, or it's been sitting on you for months, that's worth saying out loud to a professional. Not because you're broken, because a low threshold and a flat mood are different things, and only one of them needs help. And tell me one thing in the comments. Not the story, just the moment. The time your face did something honest and you got punished for it. If you're new here, subscribe and turn the bell on. This is what this channel does every week. So let me put it as plainly as I can. You have spent years being told you overreact. You do not overreact. You react on time to real information, at a volume the room hadn't reached yet. Every one of those tears was a correct reading of a situation where you had no power and knew it. Not one of them was a lie. Not one was a performance. Your face has been telling the truth in rooms where everybody else was managing theirs. There's a moment you've been carrying, one where you cried and someone's face changed, and you've replayed it since as the evidence of what's wrong with you. Go back to it and read it properly. You weren't falling apart in that room. You were the needle that moved first.